All right, Scorpio, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for May 18th through the 24th. My name is Athen. So let's go ahead and look at your chart. At the very beginning of the week on Monday, we have a new moon. So fresh new beginning to the week. It's happening right on the cusp between your 6th house and your 7th house. Now, you guys have already had your new moon in the 6th house last month. And it technically is in the 6th house this month, but it's happening so close to the 7th, it's certainly going to be a blend of both. So this is all about the same things relating to the 6th house, but in a new way, which is the routine, the daily activities, the health, the vibrance, developing your craft, improving self, helping others improve as well, but blended with relationships, because there's already been a lot of this emphasis with relationships anyways. Your ruler Mars has been in the 7th house. Mercury's been there, so I think you've been thinking about it. And now the sun's going to be shifting in there for the majority of this week. So here, the new moon, though, because it's so close to the cusp, probably more to do with the relationship side of things. It's a little bit of both. So perhaps it's about improvement through relationships. Perhaps it's about how when everything's taken care of and you're taken care of and you're improved, your relationships blossom. And this is, of course, all relationships, all one-on-one connections. And it can mean definitely some new beginnings relating to the relationship perspectives or relationships in particular in your life. So that's going to be the new beginnings for you for the next lunar cycle, and you'll certainly be feeling the shift as the week gains energy, as the moon starts to gain more of that solar energy. So it is also a very reflective week. It's a pausing week. We've got Mercury going retrograde in that 7th house. We have some oppositions this week, so it is this sort of pausing and just kind of taking things nice and slow, especially in the early part, because the new moon energy is always a time of reflection, because we're not, it's more of a spiritual thing, it's more of an internal thing. We're not conscious of what the new beginnings are until the moon starts to gain more of that solar energy. So it's important to plan things and think about things, but in an adaptive way, and especially with that Mercury going station Monday and Tuesday. And that's, again, that 7th house. So over the next few weeks with that Mercury, I think you guys will be redoing, rethinking, reflecting on the one-on-one connections in your life, all relationships and partnerships. So that's exactly what you want to do. I really recommend getting involved with relationships as much as possible, within balance, of course, this next few weeks, because it's through those experiences that you're going to learn a lot about that part of your life right now at the moment, especially with your ruler there, Mars. There's going to be a lot of activity next month as well relating to the 7th house. So what you learn during this Mercury retrograde about relationships will certainly assist you for the next few weeks and months to come. And it's always through experience, too, with Mercury retrograde. Mercury is often talked about not doing things, but it's not about not doing things. It's about just treating it as a learning process. Be willing to make mistakes. Be willing to try new things and have that sort of learning perspective on it. And through that, you'll be gaining the most information, most knowledge and insight about these things. Now, Mercury also does rule your 8th house and your 11th house, so I think you will be reflecting on the deeper things of life, which is always often the case when Mercury goes retrograde, and also relating to the group, friends, and bigger picture, and your ideals, really reflecting on what's important to you in the bigger sphere of things as well. So reflecting on those things will certainly assist you also. Now, Venus is opposing up to Pluto later on in the week, Thursday and Friday in particular. So this opposition here is relating to the 8th and the 2nd. Pluto's been helping you guys restructure the material side of life, which is the perhaps finances, perhaps your sense of self-worth, what you believe you're worth, your values in life, especially relating to more of the earthy or material matters. And so whatever that restructuring's been is now opposing up to this Venus, which has been that you guys have been perhaps enjoying the deeper side of life, enjoying the deeper connections, the bonds, the getting deeper with things, because Venus also rules your 7th house as well. It's also a very spiritual planet for you, ruling your 12th. So whatever you've been connecting to in this deeper side of things, be willing to restructure, be willing to make changes in that part of your life, again, especially relating to relationships and spiritual things, because there are some changes. Pluto is saying, look, it's time for change. There's some restructuring that needs to take place. And when we're willing to make those changes here with these deeper things, then that's where the flow is, because then we're the agent of change, and we're no longer feeling like change is happening to us, because otherwise Pluto will feel like it's happening to us or we're forced into it. But if we're willing to, then it's all in flow. And yeah, Pluto is all about stripping away our attachments too. So especially with the 8th house, things you're attached to, maybe in the relationship or spiritual side of things, it's always helpful as best as you can to have that non-attached perspective, because when we're non-attached, then we're willing to make change. And that's exactly what the Pluto energy is all about. So anyways, that's Thursday and Friday. It doesn't have to be intense. Again, it doesn't have to be too serious. It just depends on your willingness to make change in those areas. Now, Friday and Saturday, the Sun opposes up to Saturn. So you see a lot of this patience. And so here, it's a more familiar energy, though, because you've already had your ruler opposed up to Saturn last week, which was much more personal for you. But still, the Sun is a personal planet. This is about our creativity, our self-expression. It rules your 10th house of career. So being patient with career matters, public matters, things relating to your legacy and anything else in that big picture. And it's through that patience, and it's through that, disciplining. And again, it's all relating to these one-on-one connections, because right now, your work and your career is it's being assisted and it's supported by these connections, and it's all sort of connected. Well, you will feel that this week when the Sun, your ruler of the 10th, goes into the 7th. But in either case, bringing in these elements of Saturn, discipline, hard work, pragmatism, which you guys have certainly been stepping into with Saturn recently, towards the tail end of last year, has gone into your 1st house. So you guys have perhaps assumed more responsibility, more hard work, more of that mature role in your life. So utilizing that into the relationship sphere and the work sphere will be the flow for you, particularly over the weekend, but as the week unfolds also. Now, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the weekend, your ruler will be trining up to the North Node, who's transiting the 11th house. So this whole year has been about perhaps networking, and this is not something that may not be personal for you depending on your personal chart, because it's the transiting North Node. But this whole year you've had the opportunity and flow to connect to groups, friends, networks, getting more satisfaction and enjoyment through your work, perhaps increasing the finances you derive from your work as well, because these are all 11th house matters. But anyways, in a general sense, networking and connecting to things larger than self and your ideals and giving. So all of that stuff is definitely supported over the weekend. I think it's a fantastic weekend for friends. All this one-on-one stuff, because there's a lot to be learned there, especially with the one-on-one connection side of it. But there is, this whole group side of it too, which is supporting all of this 7th house activity over the weekend. So I hope you guys have a nice week, Scorpio. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check out masteringthezodiac.com, or if you'd like a personal session, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.